Welcome to another episode of Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is IK Grande and I am your host. And if you've watched gay porn in the past 12 years, I've definitely helped you get off. And so as the gentleman that I'm interviewing today, I've had the privilege of working with him a good, 4 or 5 times at this point.
Yeah, I think so.
And he is a porn actor and he is an advocate for Prep Squad in Washington, D.C., right? Prep Squad D.C.
Yep.
Otherwise known as Undetectable Man.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Please help me welcome Jacen Zhu.
Hello, everyone.
Jacen, how did you come up with your name?
My real name starts with a J, so I wanted to, out of respect for my dad, stay in like a J type name. Mm-hmm. And I came across Jacen, but I didn't want it spelled the regular way because I was like, alright, that's kind of lame. Mm-hmm. So I saw another Jacen, and I was just like, oh wow, this is different spelling. Like, I like that. That's cool. Zhu, I originally wanted to have something to go with Doctor Who. Okay. But that didn't work out, and so I was like, all right, so what's next? And so I started thinking of like, Asian last names because I love anime and martial art movies. So I was like, all right, I came across Zhu, which is actually Zhu, but at the time I was listening to the dance artist Zhu, and like I was just like, oh my god, this is supposed to be it. And then so like some weird way I came up with saying, oh yeah, that rhymes with Doctor Who, Dr. Zhu, and I was just like, I like it, so I stuck with it. Originally they wanted me to change my last name, but...
Who? Big Porn? No, I'm just kidding.
No, my first studio, Lucas Entertainment, Michael Lucas wanted me to change it, but his marketing guy was like, no, I don't see anything wrong with it.
Jacen Zhu, it's nice.
Yeah.
I like it, it's very different.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then you have, under Twitter, it's like Sensei
Koga, yeah,
Sensei
that's
Koga.
in BDSM, that's what I go by, Sensei Koga.
Oh, okay, so you do some BDSM.
Yeah.
Oh, we can get into that.
Yeah, sweet.
So, you started your porn career how long ago?
2016.
Okay. So you've been doing it for almost 4 years now?
Yeah.
You are now producing and doing your own stuff. You're a content creator.
Yep, I have stuff on Just for Fans, and I also I have been putting some of my like clips on Pornhub as well, but primarily using Just for Fans.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you produce. Right now you are a model who's worked with a lot of different studios, and now you're also a producer. Tell me what that's like.
Oh man, it's fun, but it is stressful. For myself, I really enjoy like organic, real sex. So I really haven't worked with a lot of guys who are already in the industry or humans who are in the industry because I don't know how they identify. So getting regular people who might have maybe did like a little clip for their personal like private collection or, haven't done this at all, but have fantasized about it. It's a hurdle for sure because you have to convince people like, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. So you have to know what you want as a content producer and be like, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to get into. If you want discretion, I have a mask, I have a hood. I could blur your face out, or we could just do like no like face at all. So you have to have all of these conversations, including like conversations about like, my HIV status and their HIV status, and then like STDs or STIs, things like that. So, it's a lot. Yeah. Like, and then figuring out where you want to do it at, and it's just now I'm at the point where I'm paying for hotels.
Oh boy. Okay. So you're producing. You're into it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
It's how much of it really is. You're editing as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I edit. Yeah. And, prior to like when I first started, I was like super into editing. I was like, all right, it has to be like perfect. And I was using a GoPro and my phone. Now I just use my phone and I have maneuvered a way to where I can just keep it going like straight on through and without a lot of edit because that way it's a lot easier because the editing is like time consuming,
Yes.
and you have to take it from this platform and put it on this one, and then bring it back to this platform in order to upload it.
What program were you using?
So I typically do everything on my phone, so I'm using Adobe Clips.
Okay, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That keeps it like very simple. Yeah.
But it's a pain sometimes, because if you like stop in the middle, you got to cut that out and then like put these, together to merge it. So it's
You worked at the big studios.
Yeah.
Well, I don't mean that in a derogative way. I mean,
all the
Treasure Island, or Dark Alley, the studio that I was with before. All these studios they're in their own right. They're big studios. But I'm talking like Hollywood production studios.
Yeah,
You've worked with them.
I pretty much work with the ones that feature primarily white models. All those studios.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Okay, we can get it. I got into it a little bit with Max Connor because, he's awesome. He works with Normail a lot.
Yeah.
He works with a lot of different studios. I know you've worked with them before.
Yeah, we're no longer friends, unfortunately.
Really? I don't want to bring it up in a bad way or anything.
No. I still have love for him as a human being. It's just that I just couldn't agree with his methodology, and I was just like, I can't. Like I can't.
It happens. I know it happened. My thing. I think it was him. I'm not sure if it wasn't him. It was Seth Knight. Somebody told me. Basically was saying, Normail. Thank God for Normail, because now we have porn for people of color. And I was like, hold on a second.
Was that in a speech?
No. I know who. But I know who that was.
Yeah, because when I was there, and I clutched my pearls.
Yeah. well, my biggest thing is. And this is not a judgment at all. This is not anything. This is fact.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know Chi LaRue personally. I've met him in a couple of situations. When he's DJing or doing anything like that, in Chicago usually. He's been doing this since the 90s.
That's so funny that you bring this up, because after my moment with Noir Male, I went and did some research. And I was just like, wow, like I was believing, because for me, like I don't try to like dig into people's past as much to really like be like, all right, this is who you are as a human. Like I'm trying to take you for who you are now. And hopefully at some point, like there is some change or some evolution that has happened. But to see that this was done before, it's kind of sad.
Yeah, I'm not sure how familiar you are with Forbidden Funk as a studio. They do Black Breeders. They do a couple of different things.
Okay, I know Black Breeders.
Yes,
for sure.
So Forbidden Funk, BK's been doing this since 2008, and under Dark Alley, I was the liaison between Dark Alley and Forbidden Funk, and we distributed them, and we made sure that their stuff was looking good, and it was out there. And he was doing it kind of underground, kind of presenting a whole new, like a look at, it's a black studio, getting real black men, of every size and shape, everything. And it was a very successful studio, in their own right. It just wasn't a Hollywood studio.
Yeah.
So, he said something to me that was very interesting once, and it was, a lot of the studios, what they do is they'll hire some black models, but it looks like, how when the Barbie dolls, when you had the regular Barbie and then you had the black Barbie, just looked like they dipped the one in chocolate, and it's basically the same doll.
No, and it really what it is that they all run through this like little cycle of hiring like black models when it's convenient for them, or when they want to, act like they're being inclusive, and it's just like, dude, like you're not.
Well, see, that was my only gripe. So when they brought up, thank God for Normail, I said, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Because there are studios that were doing it way before. And my only gripe with Chi LaRue would be, why now? Yeah. Why 2017
I
or 2018?
I give people the example of like a studio like Raw Strokes, and then like Noir Male. Like Raw Strokes has been doing interracial scenes, black on black scenes. Like they have been doing it for a while, and no one has a problem with it. And that's what I think everybody kept on taking away, is that, everyone had a problem with the interracial scenes. And I was like, no, have you not seen Mix It Up, Boy?
Yeah.
There have been other studios that have done this, so it's not something that is groundbreaking. The issue is the storyline. And that is really what it is that if you're going to say, hey, this is what we're going to try to do something different for people of color, primarily black men, then do that, but don't have the same, dog whistle, segments and scenes that are going on, because we get it, like it's not innovative.
Last I spoke to you, last we did a scene together, you were going to start writing for Nora Mail.
Yeah, and like I'm so disappointed about because when I came out to San Diego, I was expecting, we were going to start doing some real collaboration, because I was living on the East Coast, and it was all of these promises of yeah, we're going to get you off first, starting off writing, and then we're going to work up to consulting and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, cool, this is going to be great, because then for me, yes, I have to be that black guy that comes in, but if it's one of us, then I can bring along, because I know people who write. I know people who, direct. I know people who are, good at all of these things. They just do not work in our industry. So I was ready. I had my people hey, it's this opportunity coming up. Be prepared. You're going to be good. Yeah. And to really see, I wrote one script, which is Double Checkmate, which kind of once we got there, she kind of changed it up. Put her thing on it and had Rocco Steele and Army Fatigue, and Rocco was confused. He was like, well, I'm reading a script and this doesn't, what I'm wearing doesn't make sense. And I was like, I know, because Rocco, I wrote this script exactly for who you are as a person, because I wanted you in the military, because I know, one, that's what they want. They want some daddy-esque type vibe. So I was like, all right, let me give the people what they want to make, corporate seem like, I'm doing what they want me to do. But he was retired. So a good old polo and, some shorts or pants or whatever would have been perfect. No, we got to go Army Fatigue, because we have to make it more campier or just not realistic at all. I was just this. At the point, I was just I don't care what you do with it. Let's just get this done and get it over with.
So now, has that kind of soured your look at? It's corporate porn. You're absolutely right, because it really is about money. We have studios out there now that are doing gay porn that are either run by women or run by straight guys. I don't know. I think that something's lost there.
Yeah. So that's what I really don't agree about the straight guys running gay porn. Women, I don't really have an issue with, because I already know that the content sometimes that they would create would be a lot more intimate. Okay. And I appreciate that, because it's such a different way to look at it, a different perspective to put on it. That's why a lot of women enjoy Cocky Boys, because of, how the story is told and how intimate, and it's not always just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom,
you're
boom,
absolutely right. I'm sorry, I spoke way ahead of myself, but I do know that women do enjoy watching gay porn.
But with the straight men, it's just that they just give us these dry narratives, and it's just all right, that might work for straight porn, but it doesn't work for gay porn, and it's going to be even more problematic, and because you're working inside a marginalized group. So then once you throw race on top of that, it gets even more marginalized, and so now everything is magnified, because we already have that tension in the beginning. It's just so now you're just now putting it on film.
If I was these studios, right, because they have tons of money. They're not, I'm not saying they're swimming in it, but they have enough to do what they do. If I was these studios and I had this money and I wanted to start a gay porn division, I'd start a gay porn division, have gay directors, people that know it a little more. For me, it just seems like a big money grab when any studio does something that's not really their niche, or that they weren't doing when they could have been doing it and making a difference.
If you really wanted to make some real change, you could have still had Shishi, there, but I tell people, I give the example of Pose, Ryan Murphy, wants to tell this story. But Ryan Murphy has not walked a ball, is not in ball culture. So he went to people who were there, who are a part of this, who have firsthand knowledge of this, to really make this show authentic. Noir Male didn't. They had that opportunity, and they didn't do it.
Was that your departure into your own kind of brand of what you're doing?
Yeah, I think my last straw was when I heard about, black on black scenes from, John being a percentage for a site named Noir Mail. Like, I was just like, all right, you're looking at numbers and like, you're not looking at the bigger picture and the cultural impact of like what this is going to have for people who look like me. So that kind of soured me a little bit. And then having to like consistently, like with other studios, you always have to like be like, hey, I want to work with this model. And this model might be a person of color, primarily a black person. But you're doing that because you're like, hey, I am into black people too. Also, I want people to see, that it's okay to be at this studio and have black on black scenes. So I'm showing so much that I want to do as a person. But if I have to ask for that at a company named Noir Mail, then what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, why am I asking to do black on black scenes?
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. I think it has to do with the numbers at the end of the day. I've heard a lot of times from a lot of studios that I've worked with, or from people that are distributors trying to buy stuff, that, well, black on black doesn't really sell that well. Yeah. I beg to differ.
I do too.
So
it's there.
You just
for them to say that, and like they're looking at a perspective of saying like gay white men won't purchase it, but like my partner will let you know, like he's like, I do not watch porn with white guys in it. Like I'm like, if it's not like, a black guy or just a person of color in general, like I don't watch it. Like I like black on black scenes. I've heard that from other gay white men. They like black on black scenes. And just to keep on saying that, they won't buy it or they're not into it, it's like, no, that's not real.
What has been a good experience? Like one of those things where you're like, okay, wow, this is cool. This is what I do. I enjoy this. It's my job.
Yeah, I really like working with Kinkman.
Yeah?
Kinkman they were so professional, but like so like queer forward. And I guess because like you're dealing with like you have people in bondage, so like you have to like it's so many like liabilities that you just don't want to be a part of. So like they have to create that environment, but it felt real safe.
Kinkman, did that open, you mentioned before a little bit about BDSM. Did that open a door or was that already there?
So my best friend is actually in BDSM, and he just got Mr. Leather Maryland 2020. Yay!
Yeah,
good for him.
Congrats.
But yeah, so he actually started me my curiosity, because for me, I was like, all right, we don't do that. Like, that's not a thing. But come to find out, like, it is a thing. Like, it's a whole bunch of us who are into BDSM. And so, I just started trying things and figuring out, okay, what I'm into and what I'm not into. And after that, it was a rabbit hole. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply for Kinkman.
So when you say I'm into BDSM, what does that mean? Like, what does that entail? Give me a scenario that you would be like, okay, I can get into this, and this is what we're doing tonight.
Yeah. So like my main thing is degrading and humiliation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard this a lot now.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay. Yeah.
Also, I am in BDSM. I am a dom, and I prefer sensei over sir.
Okay.
Only because of DC colloquialism. They use that as like a, how are you, sir?
Yeah.
It's like, like, okay, I know we haven't talked in like forever. Like, you don't have to sir me. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's petty. But yeah, so I like sensei also because it's like cool and it's like very anime-esque. So I just think it's like, I don't know, like goes with the whole Jacen Zhu thing,
Yeah.
So I'm into degrading and humiliation. Fisting, I love so much. I love fisting guys.
Really?
Oh god. Okay. Like, and I never thought that I would be into it, but I love it so much. Like, it is so therapeutic.
Well, let's go back really quick to degradation and humiliation.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, what does that entail? Like, what happens?
So, first, it entails a conversation.
Yeah. A waiver, maybe.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, and like for me, I always check for like people's mental health too. Because if you're into degrading and humiliation, like it has to be a reason, you know, like I'm not just going to do this because, oh, that's what you fantasize about, or that, you know, like, it's like, no, like, tell me your reasoning behind wanting this, because I'm going to say some things to you that are going to be really hurtful. I'm going to do some things to you that are going to be extremely humiliating. So I need to make sure that you are sane and safe to be able to do this. Like, that is number one. And then also, like, you know, we got to build like that trust for sure. Like, because I don't want to be a toxic dom. Like, that's just not cool. Like, it's like, we can have fun and, like, you know, vibe out and do what we need to do. But, you don't gotta be toxic, you know, like, I don't have to abuse anyone. Like, my role isn't to abuse someone. It is to give them what they want, satisfy them, and build them up as a human being. Like, I'm not sitting there, I don't want to abuse you. Why? Like, that's not fun for me.
That is absolutely amazing that you just said that. There is this one model that I interviewed, and he does humiliation as well. His name is Miles Stryker, and he has a site called Straight Gay Humiliation. And everything you just said is something that he touched on. It's very important. And one of the things he mentioned was getting the people that come to him for the first time and thinking, what the hell did these other people do to you? It's about building them up. And by the time you're done, you feel like a better person because of what happened. Yeah,
because you just went through that. Like, that was amazing. Like, you went past your limit. Like, I've had people just have amazing experience, like, once it's over with. And like, a lot of people think that it's like very sexual. Like, it doesn't even have to be. Like, I can just flog you and it doesn't have to be sexual. It's just therapy for you. Like, you want to feel, you know, those falls on you. Like, that's what you want, and you want me to do it.
Is that something you do on your Just for Fans page or your OnlyFans?
I do. I have a few fisting videos up there. Coming soon will be like my cockball torture, because I love cockball.
Really?
Torture.
Okay, you're getting into it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I am.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a heavy player. I know by the time I get like real seasoned. Oh yeah.
Okay, we'll have to talk about some stuff on the side. I want to talk a little bit about your advocacy, because I know you're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned Prep Squad D.C.
Yeah.
What is Prep Squad D.C?
Prep Squad D.C. is a community-based organization within D.C. That was their primary target is like safer sex, but they're for people of color, primarily Black gay men, Black queer men. We're trying to expand into the trans community. My ultimate goal for the next year would be to have a undetectable woman, so we can really start getting that message out into the trans community as well, because I went to USCA, and really opened my eyes to how, like, we're kind of leaving them behind, you know, and we should really be like walking together. And so, and I didn't realize that, you know, because I was just like, oh yeah, I'm doing this great thing for, you know, Prep Squad DC, being undetectable man, saying this for, you know, the community. And I was just like, no, I'm not. I'm only saying it for people who look like me. Like, that's it. Like, and it's just like, oh man, it kind of stung a little bit, but I mean, that came growth for sure.
But I'm not saying this to minimize it, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
On its own. Like, you said you're standing up and having a voice, or being the voice for people like you. That's a lot on its own.
It's like, I honestly sometimes don't think people are paying attention. But the amount of like DMs that I get, the people just, you know, disclosing to me that, hey, thank you for doing this, I'm undetectable, or hey, I've, you know, just found out I'm HIV positive and my goal is to become undetectable. Like, it was just like, holy crap, I'm doing something. That's wow. Like, I just was just like, you know, I'm just telling, you know, my story of how, like, I got here and where I'm at. And sometimes it's not perfect, you know, like, it's a journey, you know, so that's all I'm doing. And, but for people to really like resonate with that was like, wow. Like, I mean, like, it was great. Like, it was a humbling experience for sure.
If people want to find DC, Prep Squad DC, where would they go? Where would they get this information?
Yeah, so they can find Prep Squad DC. They're on Instagram under Prep Squad DC. And they are also on Twitter as Prep Squad DC as well. So yeah, you can find them on social media. They're pretty accessible. And through that, you can go to the Prep Squad D.C. Like I think it's a .org site, and also we also have a UMan site as well. That one is fairly new, so I don't really know, but I want to say it's uman.org or something like that. Yeah, but it's but I mean, you can go on my Twitter, Jacen_Zhu, and I have it right there in my link.
That's what I was going to ask next. Now, if people want to find your stuff and what you do, so it's Jacen_Zhu, but Jacen JACEN_ZHU, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything else that I can help you plug?
So I'm gonna finally get back into Take Down Tina. Moving because I moved to San Diego, and you know the journey there with like relapses and stuff like that was just like wild. So now I'm like getting back into that and really like trying to spread the message and just not like just pretty much just tell my story and my journey of it, because it didn't end when I moved, you know, like, and even with like the knowledge. So it's just like a great opportunity to like renew and like refresh myself, you know, where I'm at now and who I am now. So I've learned a lot of stuff. You know, like this, it's crazy. But, you know, crystal meth is becoming a problem for, you know, people of color now. And so how dare me, you know, shut up and not continue telling where I'm at.
I follow your Twitter. I think it's very, very fascinating. I love listening to you not shut up. So don't. I think that it's very, very, it's honest and it's brave, honestly.
It is. Trust me, it's not
you don't make friends.
I you know, like, because I'd be like, oh man, do people think I'm like a bitch? And I'm like, I'm not being a bitch. I'm just really being like honest. Like, and not like throwing any shade in there. Like, it's just like, these are the facts, and like this is like some bull crap.
I stick to that too, and I think that that's part of the reason why I never came to Hollywood. I never came to do anything in bigger studios. Fell on this, kept doing it, and then I would see like the way the other studios would talk about Bareback Studios or anything like that, and I would watch, and I watch as an outsider, and then continue to watch as an outsider as these studios are now moving into bareback for profit.
So it's and now they're trying to incorporate, you know, undetectable models now, because that's becoming a thing. But you know, there's still a lot of them owned by these straight people who have like their notion of what undetectable is. And it's just like not based on science or facts. Like,
you just mentioned about not knowing if people are paying attention. I'm definitely paying attention, and I love your Twitter. Keep doing it. I wanted to get you on this show for that, because I was like, you know, this is somebody who's going to tell me a story.
You know, and I got one more story, because, you know, last year I worked with Gavian and did like a lot of things with him. Let's talk about how I'm not nominated for, but only for, I put a status about that, but only for favorite butt. I never, right? Like, I'm just like, oh man, like this is, you gotta pay attention, people. It is a corporation.
On your own, you mean, right? As like, because they put out the models, or they...
Well, no, I was still working. I didn't like start talking about like retiring from mainstream porn until like maybe like October. Like I worked that whole, like the end of 2008, like I worked, like I did things, like did projects, did a whole thing with Kinkman, did Cocky Boy stuff, like You Are Male, although, you know, they probably won't nominate me for anything, but, you know.
Well, you know, what are you going to do? You take
whatever.
You'll live for another day.
You know, so it just, my advice, man, for people who look like me and want to get in this industry, stay with your people. Like, it is just not worth it. Like, it's really not. And I'm realizing how not worth it is. And that's sad. Because it's not that I hate anyone or dislike them. It's like I want to work with you so we can make this a better and safer, you know, porn community. But that's just not the reality. And I've come to realize that.
You've been watching Demystifying Gay Porn. I am your host, Ike Grande. Demystifying Gay Porn can be found on every podcast directory as well as YouTube. Demystifying Gay Porn is on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, Discord. And if you like what you're watching and want to be a part of the process, head over to patreon.com/demystifyinggayporn, where you can help support this channel and I can continue making content like this. Once again, this is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped to get off. Cheers.